In terms of Galatasaray, we have to play a weak team. I don't particularly. Obviously, I care because it's Tottenham, and I want us to win every game. But in the context of the season, this game is not. I don't think it's that important for me. With the 3 wins that we've had so far this year in the Europa League, we've put ourselves in a massively good position. Yeah. We got 2 home games still to come with Roma, who could be coming with Frank Lampard as their manager, if I'm led to believe a few reports, and Elfsborg as well in the Swedish league, who are sitting about mid-table or something in the Swedish league. So you got to expect at least 4 points, minimum 6 points in those games. And if we do that, then that's top 8 signed, sealed and delivered if it's not already.
Even if we lose, I don't think we can drop out the top 8, I don't think.
I think they brought up percentages. Apparently we're 67% likely to finish in the top 8.
I'm saying even just for this week, like if we lose, I don't actually think it's possible for this week. Yeah. I don't actually think it's possible for us to drop out the top 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only 4 teams I think that can go above us. So, and I think we're already, and there's already.
How does it? Sorry to interrupt. How does it work? So generally, I don't know this, right? And I should know.
So how it works is if you finish in the top 8, you go directly into the last 32, last 16.
Yeah, but what? And then you're pulled out of a hat or something for last 32, or you're a ranked team, or like because if we finish 8th versus 1st, does that give you any disadvantage?
Oh no, I don't think it makes a difference between
1st
and 8th.
That's what I mean.
No.
As long as you're 8th or above, then
top 8.
Matter.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree. I actually think, I think he's fit. So let's look at the Will Lancashire situation, the Mikey Moore, the Bergvall, the Archie Grays. I'd be playing all in, definitely. Dragusin 100%. Ben,
you have to. We've got no option.
We've got no other centre backs. We're going to have to play Dragusin and Davis. Yeah.
Can't play bloody. We're going to name it again.
Dorrington not available. Dorrington not available, is he?
Yeah, maybe because I just think the experience. Yeah, the experience of having them young lads going that because it is going to be a cauldron. You boys are going to experience it. You lucky sods. But it's going to be amazing.
I mean, hopefully it's lucky, not unlucky. By the time the end of the game comes. They've got to get out, mate. They've got to get out, mate, and get back.
The big question, as much as a big question about centre-backs, I guess a big question as well is about striker, because Richarlison pulling up is a massive blow.
Will Lancashire
all day long.
Yeah. All day. Like, I'm a bit concerned about Will Lancashire, I really am, because he's not in the under-21s. He's not playing at all for the under-21s. And also, he's not even in the squads for the senior team. So I'm a bit concerned about his development in this early stages of the season. So for me, he has to play a significant part of this game.
I wouldn't worry, Ben. The way Richie's going, he'll sure help him out with minutes the way that's going at the moment. I mean, God, with Richie, that's another situation where can't keep the bloke fit. I like his personality, I like his, endeavour, but that's a big concern with Richie. The fact we can't keep him fit from no fault of his own. I'm sure he's not going out there intentionally to keep getting injured, but we said it so many times, boys, on this show and on last one on Spurs. Sometimes the best availability is being available, and if you can't keep fit, that is a big, big worry. And we're a team like Tottenham. If Dom gets an injury, you're relying on who we've got in reserve. And Richarlison, bless his heart, for as much as I love him in terms of what he does on social media and the great things he does in terms of his own community, got to keep him fit. Have to keep him fit. Otherwise, this isn't going to work, which is a real shame.
I think that's the only bummer at the moment. And again, it's exactly the same time around this time last year, same as this time this year. If you think about the injuries that we've got, I know Werner took a knock, but I think he's fine. But you've got Mickey van der Ven out, and that's not a long one, but he's out.
Yeah.
Romero, I know it's not a long one, but he's out. That's 2. Richie looks like a potentially long. It looked bad. Was in the stadium. I took a video of it. It looked terrible. He looked in pain. So he's out. Odebear.
Yeah.
He's out as well. So these left wingers that we signed bloody Solomon, didn't we, last season? And he was literally out the whole time after the Burnley game. Odebear's literally hardly kicked a ball.
He's replaced Sessegnon.
Hard thing to try and legislate for, because the lad's going to get battered a little bit, isn't he? For it's a waste of time or whatever. But it's not his fault. He ain't really seen the bloke, and so therefore, when we have been playing Werner and he was getting the stick, I know all is forgiven now for most of the fan base because he scored against City. But the reality is that he needs to play because he needs to have a really good game. Do not take Sonny. Don't put Sonny anywhere near it unless it's just going to be like a half an hour. It's got to be Will Lancashire.
Yeah, I agree on that.
But will he do that though?
He has to do that, in my opinion. I think he will do it. I really think he will. And we got to remember as well, as much as an intimidating atmosphere as it is, and it's a great learning curve for these young players, Galatasaray have a bloody good team, by the way, with like the likes of Icardi and Osimhen. They've got some top players, the likes of Big Davinson Sanchez. They've really got some good players there. And if we're going to maybe talk about a team that we want to see, maybe we'll go position by position. I mean, who do you want to see in goal? Do you want to stick with Vic, or are you happy to put Fraser Forster in there?
I think Fraser will get the game. I think Fraser will probably play.
I think I'd stick with Vic, to be honest.
You stick with Vic?
Yeah, stick with Vic. Look, as much as I don't really care if we win or lose, I don't think Ange is going to look at this.
We're saying what we want to see.
I think stick with Vic, yeah. Why not?
I think what we can have. I'd stick with Vic. I'd sit with Vic, yeah. I'd sit with Vic. We can see Vic, yeah.
Yeah. Right back, I mean, Archie Gray probably takes the right back spot, doesn't he?
Yeah, I'd say Gray.
Because I think you don't want to play a doggy. He's played so much. I think he's going to have to probably play one of a doggy or Porro. Because I think Davis is going to have to play centre backs. You can't play him left back. So, and I think I'd rather rest Udogie. So I think I'd probably start Porro and play Gray.
So you're saying the back four, Gray left back, Porro right back with Dragoshin and Davis.
We've got Dragoshin and Davis playing twice in a week again, haven't we? This is the thing.
Yeah, but they
3 times. But look, they're centre backs. They should be able to do it. They should be able to do it. Their centre back haven't played too much this season, so I think for do it for this week, I don't think should be an issue. And
I'm guessing midfield is you're going to see Bissouma, Bergvall, and Madison. I guess.
Yes.
I think Madison will play. Yeah, I agree.
I think Madison will start.
We're resting Kulu.
Yeah, rest Decky, rest Bassar,
and Timo, Turbo
Timo. Yeah.
I think that's a team. And do you think that's a team that can go to Galatasaray under the circumstances against a top team and get a result?
I've just heard you boys have cancelled your tickets after putting that team out.
We're just going for the crack.
I think it's an experience thing. I think it's a growth thing, to be honest. I actually think that, look, football's a funny thing. We just witnessed it this week, isn't it? You know, one of our greats actually said once, didn't he, it's a funny old game. And it is, you know, in a week, we don't want to ruin the momentum. Imagine going away to Galatasaray in that climate and getting and winning. I don't think negatively, Rick. I'm talking about going there and winning, and then walking into that Ipswich game knowing that we've just smashed Villa, we've beaten City, we've now done Galatasaray. So you don't want to undo all of that work by putting out a team that's going to lose. But equally, imagine the experience in terms of growth for them players playing in that environment. And if they don't lose and they get a draw away from home in any European competition, whoever you're playing, is a bloody good result. So to go there, a Mikey Moore, a Will Lancashire, an Archie Gray, a Bergvall, you know, what's that, 4 teenagers or whatever it is. I think Will's a bit higher than teenagers, but 4 youngsters, and blooding them in, getting some more game minutes under their belt. In that experience, I think that's a growth thing. I think that can do them the world of good later on in the season. So,
and imagine they do get a result.
Yeah. Well, look, Elfsborg went there and scored 3 goals.
Yeah.
Why can't we?
We can do it. We can go get a result there. I just think it's going to be a crazy game, crazy atmosphere. And if these players swim in that kind of atmosphere, you know that they've got the bottle about them.
But at least there's no pressure going in on them and going because of how we started in Europa League. It's not really any pressure.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good kind of time to throw them in when there's not really much pressure on them. And there's not, how many times are we going to have this opportunity where it's a tough away game like it is in Galatasaray? Yeah, there's actually not too much pressure to win. Yeah, if we do win, it's obviously a big result and we're pretty much confirmed top 8. But there's not too much pressure on them to get the result, so they can kind of not feel too much pressure when they're on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a good opportunity.
I was making earlier about that game management and working things out. How many times in the past have we been in a situation where we have to go and get points or getting a result away? You know, Marseille, for example, away from home when Højbjerg scored that goal. You know, we needed that to kind of get through and all that sort of stuff. But we're now in a situation where we've played ourselves to the point where we don't have to. The pressure's off a little bit, and therefore we might be able to go and play some even better football and get a good result. I mean, the other thing I would say, just to counterbalance my own waffle, is, you know, our away form is woeful, like we've just been talking about. So actually, this is a great opportunity to go and get some confidence about going away from home and scoring some goals and winning. So it's a tough one. And then you look at the Ipswich game and you think, well, they're winless, they're bottom of the league, they're not useless actually. They've played some really good stuff and played aspects, but they're maybe a little bit like our performances that don't get the results that they need. And then actually, if we've exerted ourselves too much in a Thursday night game, which didn't really need the result in, and then we lose against Ipswich. I mean, again, a week's a long time in football, isn't it? All of a sudden, you got a bad result in Galatasaray, a bad result against Ipswich. You've got to stew on it for 2 weeks. International break, and the next thing you know, Ange is out.
No.
All of a sudden, it's 3 losses in 5 games. People
Jesus, boys. We're really close on a high here, not this way. Come on, back up.
The manager's wages.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, it'll be so classic Spurs because we lost to a team that hadn't won all season. Then we go and beat Man City, who hadn't lost all season. We go and beat Aston Villa, who hadn't lost away from home all season. And we're playing Ipswich up next in the Premier League, who haven't won all season. So
I know, please, Ben, please. I can see you putting on that white coat behind you. Take it off. Take it off.
That home form, Ben, that you talked about at the beginning of the show. I mean,
it'll pull us
if that Ipswich game was away, I would maybe start thinking a bit, here we go. But the reality is, it is at home, and it is a massive opportunity for Spurs. And again, Rick, you always say this on Last One of Spurs on our show about the mentality. I think we all touch upon it around the mentality piece. To be able to go in, beat Ipswich on its own. Who cares? It's Ipswich. We should be beating them, but actually to go in there knowing that you could potentially go third and sit in third across that international break, that's massive. And they are the ones that typically Spurs, they falter in, don't they? Typically. So this is yet another test. This is the point about perfection, about the super chat that came in earlier. There isn't no perfection. It is constantly, always on. You consciously have to be on all the time, and this is the point with our team, with our fans, with our amazing football club that we love. You've got to be on it, and if they're on it, we win it.
Well, bring it on, people, bring it on. But I think that is all we have time for today, people. I did have one more topic about if we can finish above Arsenal, but maybe we'll save that for next week.
Boys, save it for next week. Jesus, what's going on here? Let's keep ourselves calm here.
Let's be above him for one.
We'll keep it for next week when we're actually above him. So, but Ricky, Lee, thank you guys so much for coming on today. Everyone do go and subscribe to Last Word on Spurs.